everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video. It has been over a week since I have filmed or posted a video. The reason for that is two reasons. One, my life has been in shambles, and two, I've just kind of been struggling to come up with a video to film because I've come to the realization that my content is kind of basic. Like, I just post wrap-ups, TBRs, hauls, vlogs, all that classic stuff. We're in the middle of the month, so there's no wrap-ups to be done, there's no TBRs to do. I haven't bought a lot of books, so I can't do a haul, and I'm not doing a reading vlog. So I wasn't really sure what to post about until I came up with this idea, which has almost definitely either been done before or it hasn't been done because it's not that interesting. I'm not sure which. But basically, there have been quite a few books that I have recently added to my Goodreads TBR. I've heard about them from several different sources and they sounded interesting, so I added them and I wanted to be able to talk about them. But like I said, I haven't read the books, so I can't talk about them in a wrap-up. I'm not planning on reading them anytime soon, so I can't feature them in TBR videos. I didn't buy them, so I can't haul them. So I was like, how can I talk about these books? I'll just do a whole dedicated video to talking about books that I recently added to my Goodreads TBR. I hope this is interesting to anybody but me, but these books were interesting enough for me to add them to my Goodreads, so I thought maybe you'd like to hear about them also. Let me know in the comments if you read any of these books, and then maybe I will bump them up in my TBR and read them recently. Maybe I could do like a dedicated reading vlog for them or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna just go over a couple of the books. I don't know how many I'm going to do, probably somewhere between 5 and 10. So without further ado, let's get started with the first book that I recently added, which is The Lady Rogue by Jen Bennett. As you guys might know, Jen Bennett is one of my favorite contemporary romance authors. I've read 5 of her books so far and I've really enjoyed all of them, but I've only ever read from her romance contemporary books. I've never read from any of her other genres that she writes in, so I decided to add this one to my TBR because this is historical fantasy and it sounds so interesting. It kind of gives me the Mummy movie vibes, but in like a slightly different setting. So we basically follow our main character called Theodora, and she is the daughter of a treasure hunter, and she seems to want to be able to like go with her father on these expeditions, but he instead takes his protege, who is called Huck, and also was a like once upon a time love interest for Theodora, and that is until Huck returns from an expedition without her father and enlists Theodora's help in trying to rescue him. And then I'll just read you a little bit from the synopsis and hopefully you'll understand when I get like the Mummy vibes from this. So it says, armed with her father's travel journal, the reluctant duo learns that her father had been digging up information on a legendary and magical ring that once belonged to Vlad the Impaler, more widely known as Dracula, and that it just might be the key to finding him. But they aren't the only ones who are searching for it. A secretive and dangerous occult society with a powerful link to Vlad the Impaler himself is hunting for it too, and they will go to any lengths, including murder, to possess it. So hopefully you guys can see the kind of similarities that I see in the story, and being that I already know that I enjoy Jen Bennett's writing, I just feel like this is going to be a really good book for me. The next most recent book that I added to my TBR is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Hard to say. It's a mystery thriller, by the way, if I'm constantly looking down. If you couldn't already tell, it's because I'm reading off of my phone so that I can give you a good synopsis. So in this book, we are following the story of a woman who lives a seemingly like perfect life with her husband until one day he comes home and she murders him, and then she doesn't speak another word after that. And then I think we're following a like psychologist or psychiatrist or criminal psychotherapist. That's what it is. I should just read it off here. And he is determined to get her to talk and find out why she murdered her husband. So this I've heard about for a while, and I don't know why. I was always kind of reluctant to add it to my TBR, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and I've been seeing it like all over the place. It has like a pretty high average rating on Goodreads of 4.11, so I think I should just give it a shot and see how I like it. The third most recent book that I added to my TBR is I'd Rather Be Reading The Delights and Dilemmas of the Reading Life. So this is a non-fiction book that is basically just about books and reading, which just sounds like a lovely time. Again, I'm just going to read you the synopsis so that you get the best understanding of this book. So it says, for so many people, reading isn't just a hobby or a way to pass the time, it's a lifestyle. Our books shape us, define us, enchant us, and even sometimes infuriate us. Our books are a part of who we are as people, and we can't imagine life without them. I'd Rather Be Reading is the perfect literary companion for everyone who feels that way. This collection of charming and relatable reflections on the reading life, beloved blogger and author Anne Bogle leads readers to remember the book that first hooked them, the place where they first fell in love with reading, and all of the moments afterward that helped make them the reader they are today. It's pretty short, it's only about 150 pages or so, and it just sounds like a lovely time, and I love reading books about books. It's also nonfiction, which I'm always looking out for some new nonfiction to check out, so it just seems like a good book to pick up, and hopefully I will enjoy it as much as I want to. The next book I have here is called Playing with Fire, a modern investigation into demons, exorcism, and ghosts by Billy Hallowell. So this is basically the exact opposite of the last book we just talked about, which seemed very nice and lighthearted, and this is much darker, as you can tell. This is another nonfiction book, which is basically, as it says in the tagline, a modern investigation into demons, exorcism, and ghosts. But it's from a Christian perspective, which I am very interested in picking this up because demons and this kind of stuff, all the darker things in life, are mentioned quite often in the Bible. Like, they're kind of a big part of the Bible, but Christians nowadays don't talk about them very often. It's kind of a taboo subject, and I always feel like I speak about it more often, and people are always kind of shocked when they find out that I'm Christian because I always am reading books about the darker things in life. So I really wanted to check this out because this is a Christian author who decided to write a book all about it, and I feel like it's going to be a really interesting and enlightening book to check out. So this next book is called The Witch's Heart, and this I'm just going to read you the first line of the synopsis, not even the whole thing, because I think I may have only read the first line to get me to add this to my Goodreads. So it says, when a banished witch falls in love with the legendary trickster Loki, she risks the wrath of the gods in this moving, subversive debut novel that reimagines Norse mythology. If that doesn't grip you, I don't know what will. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about Norse mythology outside of the Marvel movies, but my love for Tom Hiddleston as Loki is enough to make me want to pick up this book instantly, just saying. Next up, we have a book called Shipped by Angie Hockman. This is a contemporary romance book in which we follow, I believe, 2 employees of this cruise ship company, and I don't believe they've ever, like, met each other before, but they are both up for the same promotion, and their job, suggests for them to both go on one of the cruises that they work for, and so they both go on this cruise and probably fall in love even though they're both up for the same promotion. It sounds super cute. I've heard a lot of good things about it. For some reason, I thought that this was written by the same author that wrote Beach Read. I don't know why I thought it was the same. I think because the cover art is very similar. I actually wonder if they have the same artist or something, but I haven't read Beach Read, but it's also on my TBR. So it just sounds like a cute romance that I might pick up in the summertime. The next book I have here is called The Ballroom by Anna Hope. This is a historical fiction book. I believe it's set in the early 1900s, and it's set in an asylum. Men and women are kept separately, except for, I think, once a week they meet in this ballroom where they can intermingle and dance, and we follow a man and a woman who meet and fall in love, and then one of them, I believe, has the opportunity to leave the asylum, but the other one doesn't. So I'm not sure if it's technically a romance book or if it's just historical fiction that has a romance in it. I'm not sure how heavy the romance aspect is going to be featured in it, but it sounds really interesting, so I hope to pick it up sometime soon. Next up, we have a children's Bible by Lydia Millett. This is a book where I'm pretty sure, like all of the other books that I've talked about so far, I probably heard of them from BookTube. Like, that's where I get 99% of my recommendations, or I get them from friends, people I know in real life. Whereas this is a book that I added to my Goodreads simply from seeing somebody else, just scrolling through my Goodreads, my feed. I just saw somebody else had added it as they were currently reading it, and I was just immediately drawn to the book, probably because of the cover, because of that green color is like one of my favorite colors, and then it's got like these animals on it, there's like a pop of pink. It's just a very interesting looking cover, and then I thought the title seemed really interesting, so I decided to just click on it on a whim, and I read the synopsis and I was totally intrigued, so I added it. And the synopsis is very short, so I'm just going to read it to you quickly. It says, a children's Bible follows a group of 12 eerily mature children on a forced vacation with their families at a sprawling lakeside mansion. Contemptuous of their parents, the children decide to run away when a destructive storm descends on the summer estate, embarking on a dangerous foray into the apocalyptic chaos outside. Lydia Millett's prophetic and heartbreaking story of generational divide offers a haunting vision of what awaits us on the far side of Revelation. So, from what I understand, we're following children like after the tribulation happens and like the apocalypse. That's what I get from the story. I'm gonna say that it's taking on not just like apocalyptic, but like specifically from like biblical kind of thing. So yeah, it sounds really interesting. Like I said, I haven't heard anybody talk about this on BookTube. I strictly just saw somebody put it on Goodreads and I clicked on it and I added it. So if you've read this book, let me know if it's any good, and also if I possibly have the synopsis all wrong. The next book, which this might be the final book that I talk about since we already went through a few, and I am sweating really badly because it's very hot and I always have to turn my fan off whenever I film videos, and I'm starting to overheat dramatically. So the final book that I added recently is I Am C-3PO, The Inside Story by Anthony Daniels. So this is another nonfiction book. This is a memoir. I believe it's specifically going to follow Anthony Daniels' time while filming all of the Star Wars films. I believe C-3PO and R2-D2 are the only two characters to make an appearance in every single one of the Star Wars films, and of course that means Anthony Daniels himself made an appearance in every single one of them, I believe. So it sounds really interesting. I'm of course a huge Star Wars fan. I do really like C-3PO's character. I feel like a lot of people don't really like him and find him a bit annoying. I actually really like him, and even though I'm not a fan of the sequel trilogy, I'm not gonna lie, that like one line from the movie, and it's the line that they put in the trailer for the film, it really got me because I just love these characters so much. So I'm so interested in picking this up, and I actually have a request for it in at my library for the audiobook, which I believe is actually read by Anthony Daniels, and it has a foreword by J.J. Abrams, who I think also reads the foreword in the audiobook. So when I say I have a request for it at the library, I mean I literally requested for my library to get a copy of it so that I can request to read it, because my library doesn't even have a copy of the audiobook yet. But fingers crossed they get one soon, because I am definitely going to read it as soon as it becomes available. So yeah, those are some of the most recent books that I added onto my Goodreads TBR. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought of them, which ones you think I should prioritize on this list. I hope you guys found this video a little bit interesting. If you did like it, maybe I will turn it into like a series on my channel. I don't know, let me know. And yeah, that is all for me today. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!